Man, can you imagine serving in the military, serving your country, only to be discharged and jailed for loving somebody? It's pretty messed up. And right-wingers think our military is woke.
Over the last several months, CBS News has spoken with multiple veterans who were discharged from the U.S. military because of their sexuality. Although the discriminatory policies they fell victim to are now long gone, the effects of those policies linger. One former Air Force officer was jailed for being gay in the early 1990s, and the Pentagon still hasn't cleared his record.
Wow, this was in the early 1990s that you could be jailed for being gay, and the Pentagon hasn't uh, cleared his record. That makes no sense if you don't realize that, a lot of people in the Pentagon still hate gay people.
Jim Axelrod has the story.
At Seattle First Baptist Church, where the Seattle Men's Chorus is rehearsing for its Pride concert. The power of the singing voices is matched only by the spoken stories.
As my sexual identity blossomed, I battled with how to live the covert double life that was required of LGBTQ military members at that time.
Like Steve Morosis, a respected Air Force officer in the 1980s, until the military discovered he was gay. It wasn't uncommon then for gay service members to be court-martialed and thrown out of the military. Morose followed his lawyer's advice to plead guilty.
You were looking at 17 years in prison.
I was 5 years per sodomy charge and a year per conduct unbecoming charge.
Wow, that's messed up. And what's still messed up is sodomy laws are still in the books, and occasionally people will get charged for that.
Living your truth.
For being me. Huh?
He was sentenced to 2 years at Fort Leavenworth.
My heart sank. Because, again, I thought my military life was over, but in that moment, I thought my life was over.
Rachel Van Landingham is a law professor who served 24 years in the Air Force.
There are thousands that have been incarcerated for their sexuality.
A 6-month CBS News investigation found the military used a range of cover charges to target gay and lesbian service members for their sexuality.
Does the United States military know just how many people have been imprisoned for their sexuality?
No, because they don't want to know. But
I assume she was going to say no. Yeah. Why would they care about how many people they put in prison on trumped-up charges?
Would they figure this out? Yes, if they cared enough, they could go through the records.
I mean, look at all the homeless veterans that are on the streets and that can't get any help. Our government honestly doesn't care about the vets nor the military. They're just the military. They're just pawns to be used by the politicians.
Decades later, Steve Morose is still a convicted felon and still waiting for the Pentagon to clear his record.
They have the ability to do a retroactive look and say people who are hanging under the weight of something that is no longer valid should be made whole.
What could be bigger than restoring someone's humanity, a sense of justice to somebody's life?
Especially if you're that person, nothing.
The Pentagon declined our request for an interview, but in a statement to CBS News, a Pentagon spokesperson said it would be, quote, inappropriate to comment on a specific case and encouraged veterans who believe they were wrongfully discharged to reach out to the applicable review board to determine their eligibility for relief.
Wow. So basically saying we don't care.
So, Jim, if the Pentagon can't do anything for Steve Morose, who can?
Well, it's interesting. They're saying, hey, reach out. We've got this process in place. The whole point here is that process is fundamentally broken. One of the things veterans have heard that have been hit hard by this is, hey, seek a presidential pardon. Now, we ran that by the expert we just heard from. She started laughing. She said, well, when they do that, they should probably buy lottery tickets, too, because the chance of getting a presidential pardon is less than winning the lottery.
And Morose,
Our government, our presidents are more willing to pardon a turkey than actual innocent people.
Comes from a military family.
He does.
How has his experience affected him personally?
Well, it's been devastating to him. You know, he can't get a job, as we just showed you, as a police dispatcher. Why? He's a felon. And this was a guy, his father was an Air Force Master Sergeant. All he wanted to do was serve. And, of course, it had to do with this most personal part of who he is being criminalized, essentially. We've been documenting various degrees of prices people have paid. But Steve Morose went to prison.
Jim Axelrod, thanks so much, Jim.